Welcome back to Mr.BetonYou Reacts. Let's watch this guy talk about the positives of not tipping and why we shouldn't from a business aspect. Listen, this is a huge channel. I've watched one other thing he's talked about. His name's Lewis something. Bear with me as we watch this. I'm going to live react. I'm going to pull this video up right now. We're going in. Okay, I'm not giving you any kind of back history of this channel. Just look it up yourself if you want. I don't know much about him either, but he starts talking about DoorDash. You know, your boy, Mr.BetonYou, you got to talk about him and listen to what he has to say. I'm going to go in open-minded. I haven't watched this video, but I've seen other things he's talked about with tipping, but not this particular one. Let's pull it up. I want to see what this dude has got to say. It's a long video. I don't know how much we're going to watch, but let's get into it.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today, I'd like to go over a video that showed up on Reddit, a DoorDash driver that threw a fit after not receiving a tip. I'm going to be going over this from the perspective as a business owner. For those of you who are not familiar with this channel, I have not had a real job for probably like 15 years of my life. What? It was very difficult for me to find a real job, so I wound up starting my own business and working out of the park when I was broke, and then I slowly built that very slowly into the store that I have now with 6 employees. So I'm a little bit out of touch on the employee's perspective. I'm really going to be looking at this as a business owner. So let's watch the video and go over it from there.
Let's see.
So he says, "This is effing ridiculous, dude." He puts the food down and he proceeds to call the customer.
We've seen this before. I've seen this.
And he knocked on the door very angrily.
Video. He's mad he didn't get a tip. Yeah, we've seen this video. If you're here, you've seen this video. So he delivers it. He didn't get a tip. He's like calling the person and knocking on the door.
Hi, it's saying 0 for the tip. Was there a cash tip?
He asked if there was a tip, and then he gets hung up on. He says effing loser, and the guy walks away.
What he is.
So there are a number of ways to go over this. The first thing that is aggravating to me above all else is that this man is mad at the customer rather than being mad at his employer. I have nothing wrong with him being mad at the fact that he believes his value is here and that the value he's actually receiving is here. I have no problem with people expressing that emotion.
Stop. We are not employees. Stop. Pause. Use a different word. But I got to call you out. Go ahead.
And I'm not criticizing him for having it. I'm simply saying that he should have that emotion towards the employer who is creating the economic model, setting the prices for the goods, setting the price for delivery, and then setting the salary that he pays the delivery person, rather than being mad at the customer. Now, yes, it is true that at the end of the day, the customer is the one that's actually paying you. Your employer is simply a middleman, but your employer is the one that is directly responsible for creating the economic model, setting the prices, and so on and so forth.
Good point.
If you are not receiving an amount of money that is proper for you, you need to walk into your employer's office and have a conversation about that with your employer. The customer is not the party that has any.
Bro, there is no office. There's nowhere for us to walk into. There's no. Let me put myself on this big screen real quick. Hold up. I want y'all to get the full effect. Lewis, whatever your name is, shut up for a second. Okay. There is no office. There is no employer. It's a third party. We're independent contractors. The ignorance of some outsiders, and that's why the tipping debate always is like a weird thing, because customers and gentlemen like this don't understand how it works. I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Knowledge is power. Ignorant people don't understand. Now, the thing he's reacting to, that really bad driver that called and got angry, you shouldn't do that. He's a clown. But the issue is, so is the customer. Anyways, I gotta get that off my chest. Dude, some of these people, they come out here on YouTube and they try to react to things and they have no idea what they're talking about. Okay. He's a smart dude. I'm gonna give him, clearly he's a successful guy, so I got to give him a benefit of the doubt. But I'm gonna check him. When he says something stupid, I'm going to check him.
Thing to do with this is like if you are not getting enough sex from your spouse, so you go to your spouse's employer and talk to them. It's like, this is a negotiation to be had with your spouse and nobody but your spouse. Here, if you're not being compensated enough as an employee, this is a problem between you and your boss and nobody else. And the wool that tipping culture has pulled over everybody's eyes is it causes employees to be mad at the customer rather than be mad at their boss.
We can be mad at
I have nothing wrong with you being mad because you think you're not getting enough money. Go to your boss, ask them for more money, and have a conversation.
Doesn't work
Try to negotiate how to get more money.
What?
Ask them, what can I do? What can I do to provide enough value to you that you are open to providing me with $3 extra an hour? Can you tell me what it is that...
Okay, this guy is talking about negotiating. We can't do that. Now, what we can do in some places and some cities are doing this, you can make legislation come into the mix with your local politicians and get some laws put into place to where we can make more. New York City's done it. California did it. But we can't talk to DoorDash and try to do, we can't do that. What we can do is accept and decline. We can decline bad things and maybe it comes back to us at a higher rate. But there's nothing wrong with us wanting respect from consumers and expecting a tip for us doing our job. You aren't talking, you're not seeing the whole picture clearly. You're an educated man, but you're uneducated when it comes to this kind of work. I think you're reacting to this video because it's viral and you want clicks and views. I get it. You know, I do similar things. I'm reacting to you. I want some people to watch this and want clicks and views, but you're educated man speaking ignorance about this topic right now. I'm going to tag you in this. I hope you watch this. I hope you have a response to me. You're not going to, because I'm nobody to you, but you're completely lost here. So let's continue.
That I would have to do for you, what sales targets I'd have to hit, how fast I'd have to make deliveries, what can I do to help you around here with things in general to be worth that additional $3 an hour? And if they tell you, here's what you do, now you know. If they tell you there's nothing you could ever do to us to be worth more value, now you know your boss doesn't value you, and you should be mad at them, not the customer.
He's lost.
When it comes to tipping culture in general, tipping culture does have a place in society. Yes. Like, for instance, if I go to my mechanic and I'm just expecting to have some $500 or $1,000 bill because I went over a pothole or something and I hear some clanging, and he says, oh yeah, I just tightened this nut or this bolt that was like a little loose. Don't worry about it. Don't pay me. He's leaving with $100 of cash in his pocket. No way in hell am I going to leave that situation where I was expecting to pay $800 and I'm paying $0, and he did work using his expertise without getting money. There, tipping culture, great thing. I'm happily giving him $100 or hiding it somewhere in the garage if he doesn't accept it, because he, in my opinion, he deserved it. That's value for value right there.
I'll have to say this. I'll give him a little bit of credit there. I think that is, he's kind. He's clearly a kind man. He's saying, hey, you saved me money. I'm going to show you appreciation. I'm going to leave you $100 to his mechanic. I think that's great because the mechanic didn't screw him over, and he's showing some love to that dude. So I like you for that, man. I like your take on that. I gotta agree with you on that one.
But this whole thing where like you're required to leave a tip, as in somebody comes to my business, I tell them it's going to be $200 for this repair. They pay the $200 and my employee gets mad at them because they actually pay what they asked for.
It's not the same.
This is BS. And like this is something that really does kind of have to go away. And one of the fastest ways to make this shit go away is to make sure that people's anger is directed where it belongs, which is at the employer. The customer should be mad at the employer of the business, not the employee for demanding a tip. And the employee should be mad at the employer for not paying them enough, not the customer for not leaving a tip. Both
things could be in the same. We could be mad at DoorDash for be lowballing us with $2 and $3 orders. We can also be mad at the consumer for being ignorant, unkind, and uninformed about how the app works, and expecting us to do something for them that they can do for themselves. Both things can exist at the same time. Well, they do exist at the same time for many of us. Okay, let's go ahead and bring him back up on the screen, see what else he's got to say before I just like lose my mind real quick. All right, these people and they're tipping. Oh my God. Okay.
Both parties involved in the transaction, the customer and the employee, need to stop fighting each other and take that anger and aggravation they have and focus it where it needs to be focused. The employer. Make them responsible and accountable to come up with a business model that works. Now, the next thing I'd like to go into in this video is the fact that I think this person knew that they were probably doing something wrong within this particular value system that we have, and I just would want to go over what I would do in a similar situation. So at this point in the video where he hangs up, so the guy says like, is there a tip? Clicked on him. It doesn't say the customer said, well, I actually paid $30 for the food, which I think is fair given what I bought and the fact that I'm 3 blocks away. If you believe that that is not enough money, I think you should go to your employer and ask for more money rather than be mad at me.
We don't have employers.
Rather than actually explain himself, the customer just hung up. And just, which I think is kind of lame. And I think that I'll just try to tell a story here. This comes from Jim Camstar with no. It's at the end of the book.
Before he tells the story, so he's basically saying the customer should have explained the reasoning behind it. Bro, you don't understand these people. These customers. Let me give you on some game real quick. These customers, most of the time, that don't leave tips, regardless of neighborhood or whatever, they don't care. Their level of gratitude, gratefulness, their level of kindness is on a scale of 0 to 100, a negative 49. They don't care. So we should not expect them to be like, well, I don't know. I didn't know. They don't care. When you go on DoorDash, Lewis, I think that's your name. When you go on DoorDash and there's a suggested tip and you decide to type in 0.00, you got to do more work to not leave a tip. Go through steps, see a screen that says this Dasher's, or working for tips and and there's like a little picture of a man or a woman in the app and you still hit 0.00, you are what we call on this channel a miserable trash human being. You are a clown. That's what we call them. You're welcome. I just gave you a little bit of knowledge. Let's see what else you got to say here.
I don't want to spoil the book, but he's talking about a conversation that his father had with a contractor. He moved, contractor did some work for him, and the contractor asked him once the work is done, hey, what do you think? Was this a good job? How'd it go? And he's like, oh man, you did a really amazing job. Thank you so much. And then instead of just letting that be the end of it, the person who hired the contractor says, how about you? How'd you make out in this deal? Do you think it was fair? How was your experience of the project?
Mm-hmm.
And the contractor was taken aback, like, wow, you actually care how my experience was. And he goes, well, I'll be honest with you. Here's what I miscalculated. I screwed up. So I kind of lost some money in this deal. It was kind of a wash for me. And then the person who hired the contractor says, all right, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Would $400 make up for your loss and also allow you fair profit for your time today?
Okay.
And the guy was absolutely stunned because nobody does this. And he's like, well, yeah, that would. And they wound up having a lifetime of having a positive working relationship together. And what he was doing was he was a person that was used to asking for value. And
is anybody else bored here? This guy's got a huge channel. He's obviously a businessman. I think he says he has 6 employees. He hasn't worked for anybody for 15 or 20 years. I mean, he's way more successful at this point in his life than I am. So I'm not going to throw any shade. Man, he's boring. But maybe that's just this video. Maybe he's boring because he's talking about DoorDash and it's pretty boring to him. And he's just reacting to something viral. I'm going to put him on 2x speed, see if he's got anything else to say that's like worth my time. Let me see. Let's put him on 2x speed real quick because I'm about to fall asleep. Let's speed him up a bit, shall we?
He had no problem asking for value when he was providing value. But the reason he felt empowered to do that is every single time that he was receiving value from somebody else, he made sure to pay for that in return. And if he was even had a teeny tiny bit of doubt that what he paid was lower than the amount of value that he received, he made sure to pay that back. And this is something that I've done myself. So for instance, there's a restaurant around here on Texas Roadhouse. You can laugh at me for liking Texas Roadhouse. Yes, you're allowed to laugh. There's something particular about the salad that I like. I don't know what it is. It's obviously clear. It's fast food, but there's something about the steak salad that I like. So I go there from time to time.
Texas
and when I go
Roadhouse.
there, I would ask some of the people that are behind the counter. I like to ask questions about business. Anywhere I go, I try to be friendly with people. And I said, I'm curious. They pay well here. And they laughed. And I asked how much they paid. And then I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it was like horrifically low. It was less than what I made at my internship at Avatar Studios 15 years ago, which is just to tell you everything. And so every time I go there, I typically give them a tip of $10 to $20. Now, this may seem insane, but to me, the way I see it, I have 2 choices. Behind door number 1, the people who work there are not being provided with the amount of value that they're providing me. So it's my responsibility to fill in the gap. Behind door number 2, I can realize that every time I go here, I receive more value than I'm giving them. Therefore, I will just stop going there because the people who are providing me with what I want are not being compensated properly. So I'm not going to take part in that business relationship anymore. I'm not going to go there and say, well, I'm not taking because I shouldn't have to. I'm simply not going to go there because I realize that the person behind the counter that's actually doing the work is getting paid $2 or $3 an hour, which is bullshit. And I'm just not going to go there. Those are the 2 acceptable options for me. It is not an acceptable option for me to show up and say, I'm going to pay what you asked, but I'm not going to.
So you're kind of proving our own point here. Like these customers. Well, my point is these customers don't understand what we really make, and but most of them don't care if you don't leave a tip. But he obviously is a good tipper because he understands. He's knowledgeable about. Hey, he asked the people, "What do you guys make?" And oh, well, I love this place. I get value here. I like the salad or whatever he gets. So I'm going to make sure you guys are taken care of. So he's not a bad dude. He's not a miserable clown. Doesn't seem like it. He tips. But let's see where else he goes with this. Listen, I'm curious to see the rest of this scenario.
A tip because I know, even though technically I'm allowed to do that, I know the person that is providing me with that value, that is providing me with that food that I like for whatever effed up reason in my head that I like Texas Roadhouse and my bad taste was that I like that stuff. I know that they're getting paid shit. And once I have that knowledge, that person's getting like $2 or $3 an hour, I can't enjoy what I'm getting. So I leave it between $10 and $20 every time I go there. You may think that's ridiculous. And perhaps it is. Perhaps I should not eat out at the frequency that I do when I go to that particular restaurant. When I go there, that's usually what I leave because I think that is fair. Even if I'm sitting at the bar and literally just buying myself a salad. I can't live with the idea that I am receiving value from people.
No, it's not ridiculous. You are being what we call kind. You're understanding. You're going to a place in an establishment and these people are underpaid. So I think you said you had two choices. You just don't give that establishment your money at all because you don't agree with their business practices. Or in this case, you don't order from DoorDash, but hey, you like that salad, you like that Texas Roadhouse, you like the convenience of delivery, so you tip. It's how simple it is. You just solved it. You just solved it. It's very simple. People that don't tip are clowns. You actually tip. You're not a clown. But let me see. Maybe he says he doesn't tip some other places. Let me see where he's going with this.
People and not providing value in return to them. Now, this is not because I am a goody two shoes. This is not because I'm a good altruistic person. As I mentioned in many of my videos, I'm a giant piece of shit. Don't admire me. Don't look up to me. I do this because by doing this, it empowers me to ask for value when I know I'm providing. When I first started this business 15 years ago, I was very timid. I wasn't very good at asking for the amount of value that I knew I was providing. I would often underbid my services, and I would make sure that I was not just the cheapest person, but I was the cheapest person by a margin of 20 to 40%. I needed to be the cheapest person. And what happened as a result of me doing that was that I could not afford to hire an assistant. I couldn't afford proper office. I couldn't afford any of the help that I needed or the tools that I needed to be able to do a better job. And as a result of that, I eventually started to underserve my customers.
Oh, I think we're losing him here. Hold on. Why is he glitching out? What happened? He's glitching. He's glitching. He's glitching. He's glitching. Let's just pause him. Listen, I think we got what we needed from this man. I think we got what we needed, right? Did we get what we needed? I think we did. Okay, let me go back. Listen, smart dude. I think I'm going to watch more of him. He's boring me in some regards, but I think he has some things to say. And I like that he actually brings in some of his like perspective and what his business and his, so, he bores me a little, but I'm not bored enough to where I won't watch some other things. So I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole with him. But listen, this goes to show us as drivers, a lot of people are misinformed with DoorDash. And the tipping debate in this country is going to continue to happen because of that. It's my opinion. Know your worth. No tip, no trip's a thing. DoorDash is going to do a lot of things, and the customers will do a lot of things to try to make us service everybody. I am still of the opinion that people that don't value us should not be able and should not order on the app. I don't care if all the money comes from DoorDash. Most of the time, all your issues are going to come from trash human beings that do not leave a tip. Point blank, period. I'll see y'all next time.